Imagine waking up one morning to discover that your bank account has quietly crossed the $100,000 mark. Nothing around you has changed overnight. Your house is the same, your job is the same, your daily routine looks familiar, yet something subtle has shifted beneath the surface. It is not just the size of the number on the screen, it is the way money itself begins to behave. Many people think $100,000 is simply another milestone on the road to financial security, but mathematically and psychologically, it represents a point where the mechanics of wealth begin to feel different. Not because money suddenly becomes magical, but because the relationship between effort, growth, and time starts to change. Most of our financial lives are built around exchanging hours for income. We work, receive a paycheck, pay expenses, and repeat the cycle. In this system, every additional dollar requires another unit of effort, another hour at work, another project completed, or another shift taken. The equation is straightforward and familiar. Money flows in because labor flows out. This pattern shapes the way many people think about wealth, making it seem as though every financial goal is reached only by working proportionally harder. The interesting part begins when accumulated savings become large enough for mathematics to participate alongside human effort. Imagine two people who both earn the same salary and save with equal discipline. One has $1,000 invested while the other has $100,000. If both experience the same 5% annual return, the first account grows by only $50 while the second grows by $5,000. Neither person worked additional hours for that difference. The percentage remained identical. Yet the absolute outcome became dramatically larger because the starting base was different. The rule never changed, but the scale did. This is one of the simplest examples of compound growth, yet its psychological impact is often underestimated. Human intuition naturally focuses on percentages when reading financial headlines, but everyday experience is shaped by actual dollars. A 5% increase feels insignificant when applied to a small balance, yet it feels meaningful once the balance becomes substantial. The mathematics remain constant while human perception changes completely. This shift explains why many people describe the journey toward the first large savings milestone as feeling disproportionately difficult. Early progress appears slow because each contribution represents most of the growth. Investment returns exist, but they are too small to notice. During these years, discipline matters far more than momentum. Every deposit comes directly from choices made in the present, often requiring delayed gratification and careful budgeting. It can feel as though the system is resisting progress even when the numbers are moving exactly as mathematics predicts. Once savings become larger, however, a different dynamic emerges. New contributions still matter, but they are no longer working alone. Existing capital begins generating additional capital, creating a feedback loop where growth gradually becomes less dependent on fresh income. This does not eliminate the importance of earning or saving, nor does it guarantee future wealth because markets fluctuate and returns are never certain, but it changes the balance between personal effort and accumulated resources. Behavioral economics offers another perspective on why $100,000 feels psychologically significant. Researchers have long observed that people mentally separate money into categories even when every dollar has identical purchasing power. A small emergency fund often feels fragile because a single unexpected expense can erase months of progress. Larger reserves create a sense of stability that influences decision-making itself. Individuals with stronger financial cushions may feel less pressure to accept unfavorable opportunities, rush important decisions, or react emotionally to temporary setbacks. The money changes behavior not simply because it buys more things, but because it creates more options. History reveals similar patterns on a much larger scale. Nations, businesses, and institutions often experience slow accumulation before reaching moments where existing capital begins supporting additional expansion. The early years usually involve building infrastructure, absorbing costs, and creating capacity. Later growth often appears faster from the outside, even though it rests on foundations established much earlier. What looks like sudden acceleration is frequently the visible result of long periods of quiet accumulation. There's also an important misconception hidden within this milestone. Crossing $100,000 does not mean financial independence has been achieved. For some households, it may represent several years of living expenses, while for others, it may cover only a fraction of future retirement needs. Inflation, changing markets, taxes, and unexpected life events continue influencing outcomes regardless of account size. The threshold matters because it changes financial mechanics, not because it marks the finish line. Perhaps the most valuable transformation is one of identity rather than arithmetic. Someone focused only on earning often measures progress by the next paycheck, while someone who understands capital begins paying attention to how existing resources can work alongside future effort. The perspective shifts from asking, how much can I earn this month, toward asking, how can today's decision strengthen tomorrow's foundation? That subtle change encourages longer time horizons, greater patience, and a deeper appreciation for consistent systems instead of dramatic breakthroughs. In the end, $100,000 changes everything, not because it rewrites the laws of finance, but because it reveals them more clearly. Compound growth becomes visible. Accumulated capital begins sharing the workload with human effort. And financial decisions increasingly reflect long-term thinking rather than immediate survival. The number itself is only a milestone, yet it represents the moment when mathematics becomes easier to notice, psychology becomes easier to manage, and the quiet mechanics of wealth become easier to understand.